Okay, so in this video we're going to be talking about target audience and why you need to define it. In the previous videos we talked about setting the objective when releasing your music. We then moved on to branding, and in particular in the last video we talked about your story. So why is it important to define your target audience? Well, as we said before, chances are if you're watching this you have limited resources in terms of your time and money, and in our experience when that is the case, you're often better to focus all your energies and efforts into one particular area, and then generally speaking you get far greater results. Spread yourself too thin and aim for absolutely everything, and the results are a bit of a letdown and everything is a bit of a disappointment. So to avoid that, this is why we would suggest, particularly if you're a new artist or an artist who's building an audience, to keep things defined and consistent in one particular direction. So what should you look at? Well, there are lots of options you could consider, but we would suggest perhaps considering the following four, which would be age, or the age that you are aiming for, your genre or sound, what is it, the locations you want to target, and then think about the related artists in relation to all of those. So for example, let's say your genre is drum and bass, and you think, okay, well, my sound is kind of 18 to 24, and my related artists are, well, I guess like the brand Hospitality, and I know drum and bass is big in the UK. Already, if you take all of those elements and put them together, you start to have an idea of what you will be aiming for when it comes to social media ads, which we'll talk about later in future videos. You'll also have an idea of what your content should look like, because you know the audience, or you have a rough idea of what the audience you're after responds to. Now, as artists and creators, again, a bit like the branding word that we talked about in the previous videos, this can feel a little bit constrictive, and it can kind of go against our sort of natural artistic tendencies to want to sort of be free and do whatever we want. I guess in a way you could say it sounds a bit major label-ish. You're kind of pigeonholing me. And to a certain extent that's true, but the point we're trying to make is that in the early stages of your career and when you're building that audience, consistency is key. And what you don't want to be doing is chopping and changing who you're aiming for, or what your sound is, or what countries you're aiming for with every release, because all that happens is you win a load of fans and they go, yep, I love that song, that sound, that was great, and then your second single is completely different and those fans are switched off, but then you get new fans for that single, and then your third single is different again, different country, so those fans are switched off or ignored, and then those fans are new. And all that happens is you just create new fans each time, but you're not accumulatively growing. And that's what we're trying to avoid. It doesn't mean that later in your career you can't sort of spread out and sort of target absolutely everything. But when your resources are finite and you don't have that much time and that much money, you're far better focusing on a key particular area and getting the best results in that particular area. So other than saying area once more, that's kind of what we're talking about when we say target your audience and know what it is. I guess essentially what you're doing is find your audience and then give them what they want. So yeah, okay, so that's it. There are other things you can look at. You can make it wider, you can make it narrower, but certainly try and define it. In the next video, we'll start to look at your content and what that should look like, and we'll talk about social media.